Okay, g'day. I almost said good morning. Anyway, and welcome. Hi, love. I'll just get straight into the introduction. You're here on the Forbidden History Chronicles with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series. And this is something that Desert wrote. It's called The Signs of the Times. In essence, Desert can discuss the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time, who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. He can discuss the ultimate in mind control and ancient art and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time, through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for our experimentation, and in the end, they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it, but they are cleverly leaving us in the dark, hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to the fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we, most all, are their cattle, chattel, property, because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate. But they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And that was written by Dezert-Owl. How's it going, Desert?
Hey there, Ninja.
Hello, welcome.
The world is still spinning, in spite of what the flat earthers are saying.
Indeed it is. A bit wobbly, but it's still spinning.
It's super cold up here and it's super hot down there, right?
Yes it is. Very, very hot.
Yeah. They certainly can't explain, the laws of nature with that, but of course they can't interpret scriptures either, so that's great irony.
Yeah.
It's the big lie again. I said, people love to follow the big lie.
Yeah.
And it's a sad commentary And I actually have, close friends who think the Earth is, is flat, and I don't poke fun at them or anything. But when I do the broadcast, I'm here to convey the view that the Heavenly Father has given me, and I have a saying, the one who made all things is the one who reveals all things, and we have we are in a solar system because everything came out from the light, and the scriptures prove that, and the sun is a sphere, and the only thing that would have popped out of the sun was not a pancake; it would have been a sphere. A sphere creates a sphere, a liquid, of molten magma, that is pure atoms, purified atoms, and there's even actually a YouTube that just shows the sun giving birth to a planet or a moon, and whatever, and that drifted off, and apparently it does that. That's how these things get out there. They are birthed by stars, and but of course the scientists want us to think a Big Bang occurred, and I guess like a garbage dump exploded or something. A Big Bang of what? A Big Bang when there's nothing there. So they can't explain how the universe came to be, but yet it all comes through the scriptures, the Shultres, which are the Shultres, original word for scripture, which we find evolves out of the Sanskrit into sutures, meaning that which ties everything together, and sutra and the corruption is the scriptures. The Shultres, sutras is another aspect of that word, so they corrupted everything. Bottom line, everything in the world is a garbage dump now, really, and it's all a grand illusion. There is no truth. There is no depth of anything other than the fantasies that they engross themselves in. The bigger the lie, the more people go after, like with the alien thing.
Yeah.
But yet, a community called Paradise, California, burned down and killed the fire at least annihilated half the people, if not easily more than half. And but nobody is following that, it seems like, and that's amazing. And even when I mention it to people here locally, they show little interest, in genocide. I think we get everything we deserve for being stupid, and even we were given intelligence, and ultimately every one of us wakes up and begins to see the lie. And like what happened to me, I think my first wake up was like when I was 5 years old, and I was sitting on it was Christmas time, and so my mom took me to the department store and put me on the lap of Santa Claus. And when I got real close to him, I could see strings holding his beard on. I'm thinking, man, this guy's a fraud. What's going on here? And I'm thinking, I better not tell my mom. I don't want to break her heart. So I didn't tell anybody, but I saw it. Okay, I knew Santa Claus was a fraud. I wasn't fooled. So. It took him 2 years to get me in school to figure out I needed glasses. I got straight F's for my first 2 years in Catholic school, and you think somebody would have figured it out after the first report card when you get 4 of them per year, all red F's. Maybe he maybe he has a vision problem. Nobody thought about that, and so I stayed back in first grade, and my mom cried when she got the report card, but nobody could figure it out because they're stupid, and they don't care. It's not just they're stupid, they don't care.
Yeah.
So our world is tragic, isn't it? What?
I was just agreeing with you. There's no the empathy. Like, I remember when I was a kid and I could see that the world wasn't right and I didn't feel right in this world. But there was, I've seen it over my life, like, just slowly disappear. The empathy and just the common sense, like, they can't, like, they are blind. They're in darkness. Most of the world is blind. And it just amazes me. Like, even though I know what's going on, it just amazes me. It really does. Just walking out in public, down the street. Just complete, like, it's all about arrogance, and it's all about, me, and who's wearing who's wearing what brand and what football team's winning, and people are quite happy to just stand there and watch others die in the street. And, you know, I've witnessed this kind of thing here in Canberra, and it just amazes me, even though I know what's going on. Yeah, so please continue. I'm agreeing with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think the worst example of it is, of course, is the Vatican and their special creation from the period of 600 AD, Islam, that these people bought into the ultimate lie that they're somehow better than everybody else, and they have a right to kill anybody that disagrees with them, and won't follow and being a mind drone like they are. So we see the extremes. But it was rather interesting when I was reading the New Eusebius, which is a continuation in a sense of the history of the church, and in there, when they took the Christians and put them into the arenas. The people in the audience were following Mithraism, and also even holding up, of course, they so completely surrendered their minds that they recognized Caesar as being the incarnation of Zeus or Apollo, whichever brand you're thinking about, or maybe Zarathustra or Mazda. So the people were yelling from the crowd. In other words, they gave them a chance. They said, okay, you're going to bow down and worship Caesar, or you're going to eat the pork, or you're going to, recant, or whatever they wanted them to do. And then, then all the people would start saying, atheist. So they were calling atheists for recognizing the truth within their spiritual tradition, and because you didn't follow them, then you were the atheist and blasphemer. But yet, look at what they can do in their tradition, right? They can do whatever they want. They can rape. They can molest children.
Hypocrites.
They can throw acid in people's faces.
Yeah.
They can do all the things that we would never do.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's the proverbial, the firstborn persecuting the secondborn, because the secondborn are the ones who are set free and will not participate in the mayhem that is going on. So they claim a spiritual tradition, but yet there is no evidence of any spirituality, because the first prime law of nature, let alone spirituality, even the laws of nature says, do no harm. Do no harm to anyone. And yet we see the total contradiction to that. And of course, everything is backwards. So everything is actually as it should be on this planet. And the good news is it's not our world. We have a better one that we can go to, and it starts from within. We find it here and now, and are separated from the illusion, and separated therefore from the confusion, and separated from the pretenders, because you can't live among a group of pretenders and think you're not going to feel the effect of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just realizing before I went to sleep tonight, actually, I'm used to saying tonight. It's actually, what is it? It's 5:30 a.m. That's amazing. Anyway, before I went to sleep, I've lost my train of thought. The difference, the extreme, like I can see it. You know how you were saying we can separate ourselves from all of that. In a few of our conversations lately that I've been letting myself get sidetracked in all the detail with all the weirdness that's going on around the world at the moment. And but I was going to say there's always something gently guiding me back into, like, focusing on Yeshua and the light. And it's not something, it's Yeshua gently guiding me back and reminding me, because I'm always asking him to remind me, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and so I'm getting those reminders, and that's an amazing thing. But last night, before I went to sleep, I could see the contrast, and I could feel it. I was, I was reading, um, and I felt really good. I felt in the light, and I felt amazing. And then just like that, I was distracted with the latest YouTube video. But I will say what it was, because I've got footage of the same thing. I just haven't put it on my channel. I did mention it on this stream once. When we had the hazy days here not long ago, the weird haze, and I turned the torch on my phone and aimed it up, like at night time, aimed it up and started filming, and I was getting all those strange colours, like wiggly lights wiggling through the sky, strange colours. That was a video that I came across last night. Somebody else had captured the same thing. And so I was fascinated by this, thinking, oh wow, I've caught the same thing. And the more I looked, the more I felt sick, physically sick. And I was just trying to show an example of the extreme. Like that was focusing on the lie, the darkness. And yeah, so I turned YouTube off and went back to reading before I went to sleep. So yeah.
Well, it's all interesting, but once we figured it out, then there's I don't give my, like I used to watch Matt Rogers every day. I love the work of Matt. My hat's off to him. But at one point I said I've seen enough. I'm not watching it anymore because it was such a diversion from time, and time is so limited.
Yeah.
And so now that I get the picture, I was waiting for something to come in, but we never see it coming in. So obviously whatever is out there is taking a lot longer, to arrive than we would think.
Yeah.
Everything is, we always have misconceptions about, these deeper, mysteries of our creation and the cycles of nature. And so, but apparently, Higher Truth does a pretty good job of conveying the message. And he said, if it's passing to, I think he said Jupiter, then it's still going to take 2 years to get here. So the phenomena we're being affected by, still, we could be 2 years off. And in fact, it may not even get that close that we would expect it to be, another annihilating event for the planet that maybe only happens every other time, or just every third time, or every fourth time. It's not necessarily every time. Certainly it happened in the days of Noah, because we see the results of the Great Flood, which is the Mediterranean Sea. The sea in the middle of the land is what it means, and it is where Africa and Europe split apart because of the great cosmic pressure that was put on the earth by a foreign object, and it ripped Africa and Europe apart, and the Mediterranean flooded in at the Bering Strait between Morocco and Spain. So look at the map. Tell me that's not the biggest flood in the history of mankind, and nobody gets it. It flowed over into the Black Sea, and the Black Sea is twice as big as it used to be prior to the flood. So the remnants are there. It's even in mythology. The Bars of Hercules is what they call it. Tell me that doesn't tell the story about what happened to the two continents when it's called the Bars of Hercules. But nobody can figure this stuff out. That they don't read ancient mythology, let alone study the geology. I used to love watching the programs by David Attenborough. He's the one who revealed, after Yeshua already revealed that truth to me about the flood. Then David Attenborough comes out with a documentary talking about how Africa and Europe bump and split every 100,000 years.
Wow,
and
really?
The ocean comes in.
Wow.
Yeah, the ocean comes in. Then Africa and Europe bump back together and close the strait. And then it takes 70,000 years for the water to evaporate. And because the rivers coming in can't keep it filled up. And then there's 30,000 years of a lush paradise down there. 30,000 years, that's a pretty good length of time, And so this event has been happening with Africa and Europe for a long time. In fact, even the Sahara Desert, they show all the fossils of creatures that are like whales or porpoises and other sea creatures that are right there in the the sands of the Sahara Desert. So all these geological changes occur throughout history, and of course, but yet other people want us to think the Earth was only made 6 or 5,000 years ago. They can't even follow the timeline of Adam, which at least would go back 8,000 years, if not 10. They can't get anything right, you see, because they're listening to the propaganda that's coming to them from the controllers that go to the universities, the professors, the so-called experts. They've all got everybody under the spell, and because people don't know how to figure anything out, they're not researchers, nor are they touched. They should be. They'd be good to be touched. The traditional Native people, when somebody was touched or they were born retarded, they considered them as being touched by the divine and treated them with great reverence and respect. Today we throw them away in a cell somewhere, to rot, but with no visitations, And so life is not what it should be, and we've got a great work to to overcome this. I don't know was there something you wanted to talk about more in particular than before I was going to get into words today. I think I've got a list of cards building, and I thought I should run through some of them. And I have a sample of translation that I'm doing that I could share with everybody, just so you know the work that we're about to do with the transliteration project.
I would love for you to do that. I would love for you to do that, Desert.
All right.
Yeah, because we've missed a few. It's been almost a week since the last live stream. Yeah, so I think we'll get straight into it, if that's okay with you.
Okay, straight into it. That sounds like Australian slang.
Yeah, straight into it. Yep. Oh no, you've got me thinking. I'm trying to think of more Aussie slang now. But anyway, we'll skip it and I'll listen to you.
So you have a Bible that you can open up with the Genesis?
I do. I can't. The good ones are on the computer, and I don't want to touch anything on the computer, so I'm going to have to go to my King James. But anyway.
Oh yeah, you have a hard copy, right?
Yeah. Let's find it. I just really noticed the difference, like with when I was looking at the Fenton Bible the other day. I did a comparison, and wow. So yeah, I'm not keen on the King James at all, even though Ninja, the expert
you're not keen on it anymore after looking at Fenton?
Yeah, being such an expert with scripture, well versed in everything, I am. That's a joke. I'm getting there. I'm getting familiar with the stories, but I'm really noticing the difference now between them, and not keen on the King James at all. Yeah. Anyway, so where are we opening our Bibles at? Is it?
Yeah, there's no comparison. In other words, so really. It's like night and day, and that's the irony.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to give a sample, and let's start at the beginning, because I got 3 samples of the problems with transliteration, just for the benefit of our friends listening. Because we come into the world and we think, well, my parents wouldn't lie to me, my teacher wouldn't lie to me, my preacher wouldn't lie to me, the politician wouldn't lie to me, and we come to find out our parents were stupid. Not that they were lying to us necessarily, but they were stupid
they
because
just didn't know.
Lied to.
Yeah.
And then either the other people are stupid or they're in on it. They're in on the lies and they don't care. School is really a bad place for our little ones, because it's an indoctrination central hub for getting people to be the best slaves on earth. And so it's really tragic what what has happened today, you know, in our world, but it's been going on from the beginning. You see, like I sent you that sample of the Indo-Germanic dictionary where I found some key words. And you see, what's noteworthy about this Indo-Germanic dictionary, like all the others, I got about 3 of them, is that, or 4 of them, you see, none of them are given what I'm specifically. In other words, I know the code now, and what I can now basically deduce or give for analysis is the fact that, you see, right out the gate, when we find written words, what we call words, when we find them in the most primitive civilizations, the earliest remnants, and connect them then with how they evolved through the different cultures, that we don't find the exact primitive root that I'm conveying through the perfected Indo-Germanic. In other words, like when you see the letter the YU. Okay, let me go open the book. Hang on, where is that book? Wait a minute, I just had it a moment ago. Hang on. Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Without getting into too much, I'm just going to give one example because it was really great today. I went back and looked at that page I shared with you.
Yeah.
And then because I wanted to look at everything under Y now, under the letter Y, and all of a sudden I went to YEU, and YEU. I saw right there. It said vital force, youthful vigor, and I said, there it is, YEU. Yeah, there it is, Utah. What we call Judah is Utah. And remember how I keep talking about Utah is representative of the sun, right? Representative of the sun. And Judah, the tribe of Judah was the big bad brother. He was tougher than everybody else, and he was going to take down Egypt in the book of Jasher if he didn't get his brother Benjamin back. These guys, a couple of them, just took down Shechem and other cities in Ganon, in Canaan, So literally right in here it says U, which is the prime root of Utah or Judah. There is no J, so it is the Y. It's the U. That's how it starts, and then Tha is the breath. The Tha is the breath. So it's the U Tha, and what it means is, as it says here, vital force, youthful vigor. The 2 O's represent sun and moon. So it's the Utah. It's the powerful. Another way to say it would be the powerful breath. You see, in fact, I should write that down. The powerful breath. And so there it is in the Indo-Germanic. But you see, it didn't have the 2 O's. You see, it didn't have the 2 O's. Let me write it down here. The powerful breath. Okay, and the reason it doesn't have the clear blossom, there's only 1 or 2 potentials. The reason it doesn't have the clear primitive root that it should be the YOO, not YEU. Remember, those are vowels, and vowels can be changed.
Yeah.
Even the Y is a vowel. So literally, in this sense, all 3 YEU are vowels and primitive, Indo-Germanic, and therefore the vowels can switch out. But the point is that the proof is, like, even in the movie Stargate, which it was in like 1996, I believe. It was.
Around then. Yep.
The last movie I saw with my daughter, actually. That's why I remember it, and because I, got divorced way back last century, and things changed. And so, but nonetheless, in the movie Stargate, then we see that when the professor, he's going to try to communicate with the people, the primitive people there on this other planet, that are next to what we would call Egyptian pyramids. Then apparently they don't want to write. They say no, speak, no, we don't write, no write. Something like that.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to let him make pictures in the sand.
Yeah.
And it's because they were forbidden. They were forbidden by Gandhabal, Giwa, Sri Shandi. That they're not going to learn to use graphics. You want to have your head chopped off? Go ahead and make a picture in the sand. We'll cut your head off. All right. So from the beginning, they were prevented from knowing how to be literate. But then they said, well, if we can, you know, we need, we can make them better slaves if they could read a little bit, then they could do more work. And if they could read a sign, if they could, chisel some stone for us, And so then they taught some of them, but only the priesthood knew the original graphics or symbols. And just like in Freemasonry, they'll tell their people, well, the symbol means this when it really means something else, and they can never figure it out. So the same with the alphabet is that they will never give us the pure thread, the pure element within the diction, and they'll give us a corrupted form or an abbreviated form, only half the word or a third of the word. You see, that's how the trick is played. Just like the word garden, they tell us in Strong's Concordance for the Hebrew is Gan, G-A-N, but it's actually G-H-A-N-N, and maybe with an A-Y at the end of it, Gane. Gane. There's now I can tell by the symbol that looks like the garden, not G-A-N. That Gan looks like a can. That's empty because it's G-H-A-N-N-A-Y. And now we got the I, we got the Anna for harvest, we got the GH for the return. All of this stuff starts happening when you put back all the missing pieces of the puzzle. Because I know the root elements now, the primal roots, and it's based on symbol. And so they can corrupt them all they want, but they can't fool me. You see? But now I know.
So cool.
It's amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
It is amazing, Ninja. Yeah. I go past, modern day scholarship. I know the secret societies at the very core, whoever's behind the Vatican, and Hindustan and Burma and Tibet and in northern India, or Switzerland, wherever they're living today, that they in their books on their shelves, they got all the secrets. But for the rest of the world, we don't. Even in the universities, they're not telling the truth. You know that. But the great light of the Heavenly Father brings things together. Periodically, people come out and they give a little key here and a little key there. That's why I'm reading Isaac Asimov. He's a Jew, and I figure, okay, he's probably going to reveal a few secrets in his book. And so I'm going through it. I had thrown it off and thought, no, but it's been helpful because, and it'll be second up here. I'll go right now to Genesis in chapter 1, verse 1 and 2, because I'm going to show how just a slight alteration of the words creates a false conception, okay? So it says, in the beginning, verse 1, in the beginning, and I'll use just the terms here to keep it simple that are in here, the pagan word God. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, okay? And so 2, and the earth was without form and void, okay? So there's the trick, because it's almost there, but it's not there. And because it's not there, then we are confused. So in the beginning, backing up to verse 1 again, God created the cosmos. That would be the heaven, the cosmos, and the earth. But the earth is not here yet, because this is what verse 2 says, and correctly. And the earth was not without form, but the earth was not yet formed within the void, not without form and void, but not yet formed, not yet formed in the void.
Yeah.
You see, in the void, and therefore, and darkness. Now, what does it say? Therefore, darkness was upon the face of, and we should add entire deep, the entire deep. And let me add that. Hang on a minute, because I'm seeing it as I'm sharing it. The more you breathe it, and you know it, then it comes clear. And so just by sharing it, I realize it's the entire deep. And then what's the next thing it says? Still in verse 2. And the great breath, the said spirit, but it's the great breath. That's what spirit is. Breath moves upon the face of the waters.
Mine says hovering.
It's the cosmic sea.
Yeah, mine says hovering. Was hovering over the waters.
Yeah, and so because the cosmic sea, the ocean of the earth is like a reflection of what's above. What's below above is like what's below. What's below like above. So
as
the
above,
lower
so
sea
below.
is pretty darn big, isn't it? I mean, our oceans, you don't want to swim across to America, because it's a big ocean. So it's gigantic. What we have down here is absolutely phenomenally voluminous. you know, but yet up there, what it's a reflection of up there is the great sea. It's the cosmic sea. They call it a galaxy. You see, the Gaelic
Wow.
sea, meaning it has a diction that goes along with it. It's called Gaelic, you know, and it means the light of the diction of the stars, you know, and of the tongue of the creation. It's the voice, the great cosmic voice of the Father speaking through the cosmos and the stars. And so verse 3 then, well, let me clarify again, second half of verse 2, and the Spirit moved upon the face of the waters. I'm getting really hot here. Hang on, I got to turn down this temperature. Sorry. So we got winter over here, you got summer down there.
Yeah, and I'm wearing a jacket and you're turning the temperature down.
I'm sure you wish the earth would flip again.
Sorry?
All right. So, yeah, I'm sure you wish the earth would flip again. But anyway,
yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
So, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. So what it really said was, and the breath of Ulofheim, that's corruption is Elohim. It's Ulofheim. The love is there. The Ul for the one who sees in the night. The Ul, the owl, symbolically. The Ulofheim moved upon the face of the waters, the cosmic waters. Okay, the breath moved. The breath of the Spirit of the Father of light, the one who made all things, is moving through the cosmos. And what does it say in verse 3? And the great Elohim breathed, let there be light. Boom. And there was light. And so what it was that it was a gaseous orb, good to go, filled with atoms, an entire atomic clock. It is a clock. That's what the word that came to my mind, because it creates the clock for us. It is the timekeeper, and it was a gaseous orb filled with atoms, waiting in the darkness for the breath to breathe into it. And when it breathed into it, it was ignited, and boom, there was light. The star turned on. The light bulb turned on in the cosmos. And you see, that's how it began.
Wow.
And so there it is, all by itself, in the darkness, lighting it up. And then finally, the other planets and the moons, they come out of it. I'm not sure about the gaseous orbs. The gaseous orbs could have had a different origin and came in once the star turned on. But the planets and the moons all came out of the sun. They're children of the sun. That's why they go around the mother star, because they are of that's the mother, and then they get the nourishment from the light that continually rains down on them. You see, and so we survive only because we are in a solar system. We came from the light, and therefore the light continues to nurture us. Otherwise, we're dead. So can you see how clearly in those first 3 verses it gives like 3? It's already an amazing story with, but yet how it was improperly done, and people would think, oh, the earth was already here, but yet not without form.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That
It doesn't make sense. Yeah. When you look at it,
there wasn't a rock here.
Yeah. When you look at it,
in other words, the big lie is that under our feet they call it fossil fuel, right?
Yeah.
Fossil fuel, the oil. And so like, did you ever see an animal riding on the side of the road with oil pouring into the ground? You think enough animals die? You get a bunch of reserves on 10,000 feet underground. That there are giant oceans of oil. Do you think dead, dying animals on Earth will create oceans of oil under our feet?
That doesn't make sense when you put it that way. I never really thought about that.
No, there is no such thing as fossil fuel. Another big lie. And it is the star energy. It is the product of the giant oceans of oil under our feet are the congealed energy reserve of a star. And that's why there was a company that I grew up with in New Jersey. When we ever go to get gas, we go to Sunoco. Sunoco is an acronym for Sun Oil Company. They're calling it Sun Oil. They know it.
Wow. And Chevron. There's another oil company that uses the chevron for their logo. Desert. Wow. I'm just seeing all the big picture. Sorry, keep going. Wow.
Yeah, and the V, which is the chevron, is the symbol that came out of the sun, the virgin mother light that came down.
Yeah. Wow. Oh.
You got it.
Oh, wow. Now, yeah. Sorry, I'm just... You've done it again.
Those pictures, right?
Yeah.
They're just having a party on us. You know, we're the slaves. We're stupid. We don't know anything. And they're the secret guys, the illuminated. You know, and they're smoking their cigars and with a $1,000 bill. You know, just thinking those slaves are pretty good workers, aren't they, Bubba? Yeah, let's take away a little bit more of their pension. Yeah, let's do that, shall we?
Yeah.
You know, and let's kill a few of them too while we're at it. Let's create another war. We got too many of these slaves around. I'll tell you what. Okay, France and Germany, you're going to war tomorrow. Okay, we got to kill some of these slaves on the front line. We got too many of them, and that's what Montesquieu said in his book, The Spirit of the Law. He says that for the last 2,000 years, wars have done nothing other to serve as depopulation programs for one another's nations. So he knew it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
One down tonight.
Sorry, I can't even get words out. I'm just.
Your turn.
Yeah. That's amazing. Like I agree with you with what you were saying about the wars. They're all created. But what you were saying about the fossil fuels, like I never like I've heard things here and there, but I've never really seen the big picture until now. And back in your live streams, for any new listeners, the Forbidden History series, please go back. It starts at June 21st last year, 2018. Dezert-Owl explains all this. Like, you can see the connection back in your earlier programs because you say it over and over again. With the flowing magma and all the words like river and light, and it just all connects. And you talking about the fossil fuels or the fake fossil fuels just then and what they really are, that just, wow. I can see it all now. Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Wonderful. Well, we're each having our own wake up every day. You know, I'm doing it. I'm reading 12 hours a day at least now, if not more. And I'm cramming because I know we're at the end of the road. You know, our days are numbered, and I want to reach my fulfillment and my purpose. And we have a long way to go and a short time to get there. So that's what we're doing. We're here to inspire each other and to encourage each other on to the eternity and to be separate from this world. They said to be separate, you know. And the separating from the confusion is the way it all opens up to you. You can't be in a crowd of insanity and think you're going to have some sanity going for you. You know, you've got to separate from it. And then the Father, then you can hear the silent voice of the Father that's shouting, but he's very soft energy, you know, like the light of the sun coming down. You know, it's subtle, but yet you can feel it, you know, when you're standing in it. So I'm going to go further now. I was looking for the one that, and I don't have a note highlighted here, so I don't think I can find it quick enough. But where it says, and I will put enmity. Okay, let me think. I think I'm getting close here. In the garden, and it said it is. Okay, the fowls, the great names, cattle. Okay, I'm going to bypass it. But you know, it's where it says that a mist came forth. A mist came forth from the garden. Okay, and I'm not seeing it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to give you one more example out of this verse here, 2:8, Genesis 2:8. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden. Okay, and so the code word, well, of course, garden is a code word, you know, because it's ganun. It's ganun. It means the sun at high noon. And you can hear in the word gan is gun. You know, and in fact, ganun is Canaan. It was Canaan. It was corrupted into Canaan. And so Canaan means garden. And that's why the first place Yeshua created the first miracle in his last 3-year ministry in Palestine and Syria and Jerusalem. He went to Cana. Cana, of all places, sound like Cain, right? He goes to Cain, and but it was actually Ganun. And so Gaina, he goes there and he turns the 6 water jars into wine. Okay, and so the turning it into wine is meaning the transformation of our beings. The miracle is what he's trying to do is transfer our being. Okay, so anyway, that's what we're confronted with. So eastward is the real code here, though. Eastward, that's the code, and that's what I looked up in the etymologies. And E itself means something far away, but then the east actually implies the star.
Yeah.
So literally, what east means, east means in the far away visible shining, the far away visible shining, not in, but the far away visible shining. And so all that's in that word, and we see also the word rest is in there. REST is a form of the word east. So that's where the rest is. The rest is in the light, as we were told. We want to put on the Shalom of eternal peace. And the light, so there was 2 gardens, of course. There was the garden, the lower garden, where he put Adam after he took him out of Eden, it says. But it wasn't Eden. It was the atom. It was the sun. Because the sun is the source. And we want to go back to the source of all things. It sounds, because we're so used to looking at pictures of the sun from a biological standpoint, with all the videos and telescopes and everything and satellites, we don't look at the sun from a spiritual aspect. In other words, we're not like the primitives. All the primitives could do is stand on the ground and look up and say, "Yeah, we can't even look at that thing. Only when it's rising and setting, we see it's red. We see the red sunrise, but we cannot look at it when it's high in the sky, when it's at its apex, when it's at its greatest force of pouring down the atoms, And so they only saw it as something far away and something very powerful, and all of nature depended upon it, and so they couldn't explain it. They didn't have all these scientific equipment now measuring the solar minimum, solar maximum, 11-year cycles, and all these other things. Although the ancients picked up on that stuff, the ancient priesthoods were aware of this stuff because they were very sensitive to all these things that were occurring, but they kept it secret from the people. But nonetheless, what we have here in Genesis, like the King James, and the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden. Well, this is the way it should read. And the Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, planted a ganun in the faraway visible shining fire of the atom. In the faraway visible shining fire of the atom. Okay? He planted a garden. And that's where the peace and the rest is, in the light. Okay? So it's not the final home. In other words, remember, everything we're looking at in nature is a symbol, and it's a reflection on something greater. So you are not the body. We think we're the body, but you are a spirit in the body. Just like when you're in your house, you don't think, well, I'm the house, So it's the same thing. You're not the body. You're not the house. You're not the body. You're not the automobile. You're not those nice pair of shoes that people like to put on their feet and think they're cool because they got a new pair of shiny sneakers, and all this other stuff. They think that's what they are. Or I go build a house. I'm not a carpenter. I work as a carpenter. I'm not a carpenter. That's what happens to us, right? We begin to think that we are these things that we participate in, right?
Yeah.
I'm a ball player, I'm all these other things that are illusions that are here today, gone tomorrow. What are we? We are spirit at the core. How come we don't want to identify with the fact that we're spirit? And so wherever the center point of light is, it's just like, well, they make fun of it in the phony illusions of movies like Stargate. They got people now convinced that there's stargates all over the place, and that people are going from one planet to another, and yet they can't even see the real Stargate. You get the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, the real Stargate.
I'm getting it.
Way back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes us back to eternity, where we came from, because the one who made the universe never had a beginning, never will have an end, and it's beyond our possibility to reason how that can be, or how that, it's beyond. Even though I can have revealed to me the entire nature of our universe. Outside the universe, it's impossible. Only the universe is definable. As he says, there's nothing unknown that cannot be known. There's nothing in secret that cannot be revealed. Because it's his intention to reveal it to one who's worthy of it, and one who wants to put on the pure heart and pure mind and pure action, because then they're worthy of having revealed. He is a revealer. That is what the tree of knowledge is. He is a revealer of the great light and also of the darkness. He reveals the true nature of things.
Yeah.
So it's not. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying yes, because that's what I'm going through. Slowly. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when it said, and the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, how important are words? They give Lord God. Neither one of those are original words. So I want my originals. Okay, I'm taking them back. And the Yahweh, that's the mother, father, that's the androgynous one, that's the one who made the universe, the father of Yeshua, and the Yahweh, that's the tetragrammaton, not the tetragrammaton, the tetragram atom. Tetragram atom, and that represents the sun. The YHVH represents the sun. In the dictionary, I have pictures of it on, I think it's the Columbia University logo, and there they got a sun and the YHVH right there.
Really? Wow.
And so, yeah. So they know it. They know this stuff. When I'm sharing, they are in on it, and they're not telling us.
Yeah.
So it is, and the Yahweh, who is the great Ulufhaim, that is Yeshua in the primary. He is the great Ulufhaim, but it's another expression of his greatness. And the love is there, the Ulufhaim, the one who sees all things. Love, Haim, the one of the many, Haim, one of the many. And the Yahweh, the great Ulufhaim, who is the great Ulufhaim, planted a Ganun in the faraway, visible, shining fire of the atom. There he planted a Ganun. And so that when John, who we call John the Baptist, who was correctly Yahganun, then what it meant was, as he did the first miracle in the land of Ganun, which means the garden at high noon, the garden of light. That's why it was a land that a lot of people wanted, the promised land. That's what's promised is the true garden, not the phony one, but the true peace and enlightenment. Then all of a sudden, the guy that's going to usher in the new age, the golden age of light of Yeshua, and the truth about our true creation, he's given a special name. His parents can't bring forth the baby, and that's symbolic of the fact that Israel, phony Israel, could not bring forth a baby. But in the end, the baby comes through the Levitical tribe of Zechariah, and his wife El-Eshavat, Elizabeth, El-Ul-Eshavat, the division of the fiery eye of the serpent, the vision of the fiery eye of the serpent, meaning the intention that was here all along, and for the end of time, that would bring forth the Redeemer, and she finally becomes pregnant. Eshavah, Elizabeth, corrupt in the corrupt form, and here how these archaic terms have so much bearing and influence, on the mind once you can say them, and they mean something, and therefore. She's bringing forth, and they're told what they're going to call their baby. They're not going to name the baby after Zechariah, and so because Zechariah doubted, he said, "Well, we're too old for this. What are you talking about?" And so he says, "Well, because of that, you will be dumb and deaf." He was dumb and deaf. He couldn't hear, and he couldn't speak, and represented what Israel became, deaf and dumb. You see, and so he's bringing forth the baby, and at the moment he gives permission for this new name. For the baby, he can now speak and hear, and he says a profound statement. But yet, what is the baby called? Yah-Ganun, not John, 4 letters. Yah-Ganun. And what does it mean? It means the garden at high noon that goes round. Yah-Ganun, the garden at high noon that goes round. The paradisia that we wanted, the peace, the eternal peace, the prosperity of the inner being, the no more war. We will turn our weapons into plowshares. You see, it's in a great mystery. because it's only those who choose to follow that can have it. But still the world goes on in their deception and in their warfare, but we do not participate in it as a separate people. And that's why they killed the people in the in the amphitheaters and all that, because they would not play. They were not good slaves. They would not participate in the illusion and the game. And so persecution goes along with the territory. As it says in the end of Hebrews, and you made yourself a part of those who were subject to persecution and the loss of all their property, and you took it willingly, knowing that you had a great reward to receive. So don't give up. Don't give up, because you will receive the promise of the gift that He had made to you. That is to receive the great breath of the wind and fire, the Holy Spirit. Okay, so there's two examples, and I'll give you one more of transliteration, because I'm on the verge, and I'm so grateful for the very few supporters that we have, because they're going to make a difference. It's an absolute fact, because it's a big project, and it's for over 40 years of preparation now. A lifetime of preparation, and closer to 50 actually now. And so just another example at the end of Hebrews. If you want to, wait a minute. Okay, we got one more in Genesis. I think I found the verse here. Let me see here. Here it is, 2:6. Genesis 2:6. I want to give one more example of how the priesthood corrupted our scriptures. And in Genesis 2:6, it says, "But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground." Now take note, the oceans were already here, and yet a mist. What is that? I looked up mist in the Oxford Dictionary, the big one, and it means mystery. In
Wow.
Philo, the great.
Wow. Because it says
Philo,
streams.
Philo, the great.
Here.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
King James says streams. Streams instead of mist. Yeah.
It says what?
Streams.
The King James. What do you have, a new King James? Because this is the King James I have, says mist.
Yeah, yours is, yeah. I must have a new. Oh, hang on. You know what's really funny? This is New International Version. I always thought it was a King. Oh, it's the New International Version. I always thought it was the King James.
Oh, you got the worst translation of them all.
There you go.
Okay. The NIV is the most corrupt of them all, and you can see it creates the acronym for knave. If you want to be a knave, just use the NIV.
Wow,
That's stupid as it gets.
That's why this is so different.
Yeah. So, all right, so let's get back to the point here.
Yeah, sorry.
So in chapter 2, verse 6, there went up a mist from the earth, okay, and it covered, and it says watered, but really what it should say is it covered the entire face of the ground. And then if we go to Philo, the friend of Yeshua, the great philosopher of all the symbolism and everything in their scriptures, in his it says, and they're a fountain. Of course, all of his translation as well was covered by, controlled by the Balaisuts, okay, the Jewish scribes, and therefore we never got the original version. They've all been altered, put on the sacred altar of deception and religion. And so, but that's okay, because I looked up fountain also. Fountain is not water. Fountain is a creation. In the Oxford Dictionary, fountain is a creation. And so what is the creation that brought forth this mystery? And it is the volcano. Here is the volcano. But there went up a fountain of fiery magma from the earth, and it covered the entire ground. And as the tradition goes, it flowed into the water. We also find it in the Revelation of John that's found in the Nag Hammadi, that has been demonized so that people won't read it. And then it says, and what happened next? And the Lord God, here in the King James Version, Lord God formed man. It says from the dust of the ground, but it's not the dust of the ground. It's from that fiery magma. He formed him, because that's why they say Adam means red earth. But it's not red dirt. We're made from the blood of the earth, the purified salts and minerals, from the breast of the mother. The volcano is the breast of the mother. And it came forth and flowed into the water. And then the Elohim could not breathe life into him. And then 3 days and 3 nights later, very symbolic, the breath comes down and breathes into the nostrils of the creation, which is what Adam means, also the creation. And he becomes a living soul. And from that point, he's taken up from the earth into the Garden of Eden because there was nothing on earth. It was void. He was the first made of all things. And Yeshua put him up there so that while he made all things on earth, through the very long 3 billion year process that earth has been here, he got him to name all things. Okay? Man was spontaneously generated by Elohim. He's not a part of evolution, but all of life on earth is. All of creation has evolved. We've had, periods of time when everything was wiped off the planet again, and then it came back.
Yeah.
That's the power of the great Elohim, you see? And so I just wanted to add that because nobody gets, this is one of the greatest lies and deceptions in our scriptures. I mean, I got several of them, you know that. But where's the volcano then at the end? If we got the volcano at the beginning of the book, it's at the end of the book. It says all liars will go into the lake that burns with fire and brimstone. Brimstone is sulfur. It's on the edge of the mouth of a volcano. The lake of fire that burns with brimstone is a volcano. And so what it means is that all liars and all the haters of mankind go back into the mixing pot. Once again, their spirit, not their spirit, but their bodies in the metaphor, go back into the lake of fire from where they came since they were unworthy. Okay? So that's how to read the scriptures in how they've deceived us into watered-down Dick and Jane versions of the greatest revelation of our ancient past that we can see with our inner eye and know that it's true, correct, and complete, and not misleading. And so one more, just did this today as I was reading the Aramaic translation from the 1840s by Etheridge, and I was immediately compelled to write down what I was seeing based on his transliteration from almost 200 years ago now. And just at the end of Revelation, or Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 26, it says, whose voice shook the earth. But now he has promised and breathed. Again, once more, I will shake not only the earth, but also heaven. And so that's the corrupt form. And this is more correctly the way we read. And once again, I will change not only the nature of the earth, but also the cosmic order of the ages. You see, it's a little deeper. Because what Yeshua did is he destroyed the old world. It says in Hebrews 9:26, I believe it is, and at the end of the world he came. It was called the end of the world, but it was the end of an age. But it was the end of an age in a world for the people that are in the sea of deception. Those people are in the outer darkness, what's called the outer darkness, and they have no hope. It says it's the place of weeping and gnashing of teeth. They're the ones who are going on the war, going to the battlefield and allowing themselves to be shot as fodder for cannons. That they've been deceived. They're following the illusion.
Oh.
And they.
Sorry, you just. Oh, wow. When you said fodder for cannons, when I was given that VHS report on Iron Mountain video, like 20 years ago, or almost 20 years ago, that was cannon fodder. We are cannon fodder. That's what they were saying through the whole video. And it was, for those who don't know, report on Iron Mountain was the plan for Agenda 21. Yeah.
Is that the one that was just done by David Travaris?
No, this is an old VHS video. Like, I don't have the VHS anymore.
Okay.
It was given to me by I don't know if I told you this story, but a strange man who was who just approached me, and it was a supernatural experience. Like he had a glow about him. I felt completely safe with him, and it was amazing. And he gave me this VHS video because he saw me reading a book about Mars, and on the cover was the pyramid with the eye. And this video it's called Report on Iron Mountain, and it was the plan for the plan for the deception, and I've watched it all play out over the years, and we're at the final stage with the fake alien invasion and creating fear and chaos on the ground. And all the way through the whole video, the human race was referred to as cannon fodder, and you just said fodder for cannons, and that just blew me away. It's just more confirmation.
That's it. In other words, they get us to fight our wars. They don't do Nazis don't go on the battlefield. Only their generals, because the generals are puppets too. Hopefully they don't get shot, but sometimes they do. And they'll sell them out. Hitler sold out his generals. Only the real key players escaped through the Vatican underground and ended up in South America. And so many of those generals were shot at the firing squad. So they sell out their own. There's no honor among criminals and thieves. They're food for fodder. The people don't get it. We have a life potential that we all equally have a life potential that is beyond our wildest dreams. The whole intention of our being is that this is not the final stop. This was the beginning point of something greater. And so that's what they don't get, because they're being lied to, or they're being told by their pastor, once saved, always saved, just mumble a few words and presto magico, you're going to heaven forever, whatever heaven means to them, and totally lied and deceived that you have to transform your being into a quality that is not of this world. And just like, they say, well, nobody's perfect, nobody's perfect, they'll all say that, yet the scriptures say, be therefore perfect, for your Father in heaven is perfect, or your Father who rules from the throne of the sun, where he breathes his breath, is perfect. Now, he made a perfect creation. Man is the problem, and if he would only flow into that perfection, he could attain it, just like the violinist can play a perfect song without frets on her musical instrument, and can hit every note perfectly without frets. That's a miracle. That's perfection. And it says we speak wisdom among those who are perfect. He has perfected it forever. Those who are set aside, and separated, And so perfection is all about the scriptures and the incorruption, that we are to become incorruptible because we have put on the incorruption. We have separated ourselves from the corruption of this world. And these simple truths, they deny every day by their actions and by the things they say with their mouth, So it's quite a contrast. And so even, like, I got one more from the scriptures, then I'll go into words, and we may take a break at that point. But here's an example, of I just got one more confirmation today. I now have 4 of the most important translations of scriptures. One of them is that Sefer that came out of Montana. Amazing work, $100 for that book. And then Farrar Fenton, and I believe also the other one is Lamsa. But this one is Young. Young did the Analytical Concordance from Edinburgh, Scotland, in the late 1800s, and he did a transliteration of the Bible called the Young's Literal Translation of the Holy Bible, and it is amazing work. I don't know how these people did this stuff, and without computers and typewriters, But nonetheless, I confirmed today also shows that in Isaiah there is no Lucifer. Lucifer was the Freemasonic creation because they didn't want us to get the picture. So I'm going to give the picture today and make literary history one more time and tell you who this entity is that is being spoken about here. So in Young, I'm not comparing the others. I'm only going in Young, who was a profound expert. And in here, so if we go to Isaiah, because you probably want to mark it in your book, chapter 14. It's a Roman numeral, chapter 14. And it's going to be starting in verse 12. Oh, wait a minute, now I'm going to have to back up in 11. I just saw something for the first time.
Oh, I love it when Dezert-Owls.
The plot keeps getting thicker every time you go there,
That's okay. I'm still sifting through.
Yeah. I'm writing in my margin here, okay? Yeah, because now, and comparing just makes it deeper. You know, if you compare, it just goes further. But you know, the Masons couldn't let the, you know, especially when they were going to use Israel for their you know, their pretend New World Order and create a false state called Israel that has nothing to do with the original Asia Real. And so they couldn't demonize, you know, Jerusalem. And so they had to create a fictitious entity called Lucifer. And of course, we find her, because she is female, mentioned in the Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike, the Handbook of All Freemasonry. And he says, our goddess is Lucifer, doubt it not. Okay, but as I pointed out in other programs, that Lucifer is a code. Lu means true, and Sefer means, of course, cipher. So Lucifer means the true cipher, and that's what it is. Their goddess is the code that they live by, whether it's a dress code or whether it's the code words or all the other nonsensical things that they do symbolically, you know. And so, so now we're going to go into Isaiah 14, chapter 11, and I just saw the last line. And the last line in verse 11 says, yeah, covering you is the worm. Now it says worm here, okay? But literally, I know what worm is, because worm is just another word for serpent. And what he is saying here, right before I'm going into the important verse that has been mistranslated on purpose by the occult, he says, yeah, covering you is the serpent that deceives. Right, Ninja?
Right. Exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So verse 12, how have you fallen from the throne of the sun? See, because everything came out of the light, right? It says fallen from the heavens, but the heavens is code word.
This one
Heaven
says,
is
oh,
an
morning.
ambiguous,
Sorry.
abstract, the creation of man. It's everything came from the light. How have you fallen from the light of the sun? And then the next line says, true, perfect, shining one. And it says son of the dawn, but it's not S-O-N, it's S-U-N. The son of the dawn, because Jerusalem was to represent the light of the sun of the one. You see, that she's the shining one. She is the one that was supposed to sparkle in the darkness of this world above all other nations, representing the one true deity. And so he says, you, true shining one, son, S-U-N, of the dawn, you have been cut down to the ground. You have been cut down to the ground, O weakener of the nations. And you said in your heart, the sun above the stars, the mother star above the stars of the great Elohim, I raise my throne. I raise my throne. Okay, and then one more line. And I sit on the mountain. Those are the mountains of Jerusalem, the mountain of meetings, of crossroads, where the crossroads meet in the sides of the north. Okay, and so there is no Lucifer there. That's young. And I've got the four most translations of scriptures. None of them have Lucifer in them, other than the occultic version. That's why they had to hammer that drum. King James Version, King James Version, King James Version, King James Version, brought to us by Scottish Rite Freemason, King James III or IV, becoming Scottish Rite Freemason, King James I of England, and who was apparently, according to history, a homosexual, and before he wrote, gave us the King James Version, which he just simply stole the document boilerplate from Tyndale they burned at the stake. Wrote the Book of Beasts prior, the occultic Book of Beasts, prior to the King James Version. That sounds like somebody you'd want to hang out with, right? And then of course the Scripture says, if you serve me, then you will be endowed and enlightened and fortified down to the third and fourth generation, right? But if you go against me, you will have your lamp put out. What does your lamp put out mean? It means that your seed line will be cut off. And so after King James is kicked out soon after and held in disdain by most of England throughout history, and I don't even know what the issue was, but it's a fact. Then his son Charles takes over the throne, and what happens to him? He's dethroned. They cut off his head. He had his lamp put out. So you tell me he was fortified and endowed and enlightened and protected and blessed, or whatever you want to call it, right? When he gave us the King James Version, the cultic code book for mind control, for the MK Ultra mind control today in Project Monarch. You know, go to a certain verse and the trigger occurs. You know, go to Psalm 46 and count down 46 words, and you get the word shake. You go to the bottom of Psalm 46, count up 46 words, you get spear. There's your Shakespeare spear shaker.
Wow.
Francis Bacon, the spear shaker who engineered the modern English for the one world order, because all of England and all that region had all different forms of communication that was part Anglo-Saxon, part Norman Saxon, part French. It was all screwed up, and they had to standardize English in order to have a one world form of communication to conquer the world with, that we finally see today. Everybody speaking English, right?
Wow. Just wow.
Yeah.
Does it? That's what I just wrote that in the chat. And quantum entanglement in magnetic services says g'day, or says hi. So, yeah.
This is somebody's name?
Yes, quantum entanglement in magnetic services.
Well, that sounds
and
like
that
quite
way.
a deal. Okay, good to have you.
And that way is here as well. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah. Well, anyway, we're on a roll here, and we just covered translations and the problems we have. And the good news is there is an answer to our dilemma, ladies and gentlemen. And when we get back, we'll talk about the Asia Wars. The Asia War means the Royal Center, because that is where it's really happening in the Asia Wars. And this is the ultimate in archaeology, because it's the only way to go back home and to know the truth about our tree's root and where we come from. Once we can know the meaning of the symbol of the letter of the alphabet, then they piece together and create the Asia Wars, and you can know that you know that you know. And so coming back, we'll be right on that. NinjaCat, I got a list of words to go through, and we'll pick it up on the other side. Thank you so much for being a part of this important work. Okay, couldn't do it without you, actually.
Thank you, Desert. I love having you on my channel. It's amazing. So, ditto. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, and we'll be back after the break for part 2. Okay, welcome back. I still have to master getting a cup of coffee and feeding the cats within 6 minutes and 45 seconds. I'll get there. Yeah, so you're listening to the Forbidden History Chronicles here with NinjaCat and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series. We're doing the streams on my channel at the moment because Desert's organising a new PC. His computer has... This is the second time it's happened. His computer is broken. So we're doing the streams from here. But if you go to the Forbidden History series YouTube channel, going back to June 21st last year, 2018, you can get the bigger picture if you listen to his streams. He goes right back to the beginning and walks you through the code and teaches you. I remember listening, and he was broadcasting 7 days a week at one stage, and I always had to have my notebook and pen. Yeah, it was the best class ever. I loved going to class. But anyway, some details. You can contact Desert. Sorry, is your website still down, or is it?
Yeah. My website's still down. So no point in giving that out right now until we know it's going to be back up.
Okay. So.
So I'll be more money like everything else.
Yeah, I'll give out your phone number though. Yeah, Desert's contact number is 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-7295. You can call or text. Put a +1 at the start if you're international. We would love to have people call in on this program, but I don't have the technology for that at the moment. So if you have questions, queries, also you can contact me. My email is in the description under every live stream I do, for questions about donating towards the transliterational project that Desert was talking about at the start of the stream. He's been working on this for almost 50 years, and it's finally underway. You're really doing it now, Desert. And yeah.
Well, I'm not typing, but I am collecting the words on 3x5 cards, but we don't have a system set up yet, so we're almost there. But we're defining everything. That's the first thing we've got to do.
Yeah. So any size donation is most welcome towards the greatest project ever, the most important thing ever. And we also we can also give you stumbling over my words at the moment. We can get you a PDF version of the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary, or the Book of Wisdom, or the original Gospel, a sample with a more up-to-date version of the dictionary attached to that, for any size donation. If you cannot afford to donate and you would like copies of these PDFs, we can still get them to you. Just go through me. My email is in the description. If you have any messages for Desert, you can call him or you can contact me and I'll pass it on. Okay, I think. Oh, and I'm not sure. To donate the Free America Radio. That's your email, isn't it? I'll put that in the description. Okay, yeah. So just go through me. We'll get it. We'll get it done. Welcome back, Desert. I hope I didn't miss anything.
Thank you.
Sorry, I need another coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for donations, contact at freeamericaradio.com. We appreciate it. It's going to the translation project.
Yeah.
I've been committed to this all my life, basically. Well, for the project, it's been 40 years of prep because it takes that long to be able to unravel the great mystery of what has occurred to us, within the diction. How did, the grand illusion, words are not what you think. Confucius said, signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor law. But he had another quote as well. If we did not mean what we say, what was that quote? I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. He had so many good ones, but the one about if the words that we say do not mean what we think, then all things like law and history, science, spiritual, of course, religion, and it will all go astray, and then the people will end up standing around in confusion and idle. So knowing the meaning of words matters above everything else, absolutely. And so he knew it back then. He knew that the trick. See, there's nothing new under the sun, and so the tricks were being played even back then in Confucius' day. Of course, they gave him the name Confusion. That wasn't his name.
Wow.
I've got it written down on a 3x5 card somewhere, but I can't remember it at the moment. But yeah, he was. It's a racket. It's a racket of the priesthood. The priests really. In fact, let me think if I can. Where is that? Okay, here it is. Listen to this. Just read this last night. Somebody's view on the priesthood. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the scriptures were not written by God-inspired saints. Well, he has a definite opinion, but we know originally these were inspired, but they're under the control of the priesthood. So he didn't say it quite right, but they are under the control of power-seeking priests. That's how he puts it. He didn't have the exact view, the view that I'm conveying about the one world order, the control that's been going on from the beginning of time, and that they are the ancient Bekaresh, the Watchers, But then he says his view in other words, just from his perspective, what does much or as little as he knows. By 400 BC, they were the masters of ancient Israel. This was okay. What did he say here? Let me continue. But who but priests consider sin a paramount issue? Who but priests write volumes of religious rites and rituals? No one but for these priestly scribes, sin rituals were imperatives. Because we need them to sacrifice, we need them to buy our chattel. We need them to buy the animals. That's why they turned the temple into a bazaar with bankers and merchants. Their purpose was to found on them an awesome, inspiring religion in their version, their way. By this intellectual tyranny, they sought to gain control, and they achieved it by 400 BC. They were the masters of ancient Israel. Of course, that's when they came back from Babylon with the Babylonian Talmud. That's why that happened like that. That was a pseudo-Israel, where Israel, there was no longer the original. For so great a project, they needed a theme, a framework, and this they found in the creation lore by controlling all the scriptures. Okay, but priests perverted. They gave us a priest perverted cosmology, and so that's this guy's view of it, and so it's not like other people haven't figured it out. It's usually very often they're insiders and they come out, and they are conveying it. But it is possible to know these things. It's nice to have a second witness on this element, and there's more out there. So words words are not what you think. That's what we have to realize. And words are not what you think. And so we need to know the deeper meanings. In the beginning, it says in the beginning is the word, but of course in the Greek it says logo. And so which one is correct? Well, neither of them. Neither of them, because it's not the original. In the beginning is the Eshavor. So words are the Eshavor. So we can see that word is only one component. And it's the W is a V, and then you get VOR. But the D is a corruption. It's a symbol of death. So they killed the words, and that's why they put the D on there. So take it off, and you get vor. Well, there's vortex, but what's at the beginning? It's the Asha. It's the Asha, which means the royal eye. The royal eye, or when you add the vor at the end of it, you get the eye of the royal center. Okay, that's the Asha vor. So it's a royal center, and it's where everything's happening. In other words, if we don't have the ability to communicate, we can't do nothing. Nothing gets done. So we have to get back to the original, because it's superior. And out of that, we get all these other words from Shavor, that make the A silent, because the A could be a consonant or a vowel. Make the A silent. A Shavor becomes Shavor, and there you get the word shower for the first and the latter rain. You got the word Shavor, savior, and then the Shavor is the sword, Shavor is the sower. All those words come out of that original word. In the beginning is the Shavor, the savior. The word is the savior if it's the right one. Then you can maintain the correct jurisdiction against a criminal element that would like to railroad you in prison, perhaps. So I'm going to ramble through words because I've been collecting them on cards, and I may do a little comment on it. What we call the New Testament or New Covenant is really the original and the everlasting covenant. Okay, when Moshe came off the mountain, he was going to give the pure covenant relationship to them, but they had already made the molten calf. They proved that they were not worthy, of the original covenant that was made for them. They could not receive it in that old world, and so he throws it at the bull, and he goes back up for another 40 days on that mountain, and then he comes back with what we call the Ten Commandments. So that was a supplement to the original covenant that they were supposed to receive. So we have received through Yeshua the original, not new, but original and everlasting covenant. So, okay, so there you go. And you stop me if you have any comment or question.
Yeah, I do have a comment actually, but I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah,
I was just thinking, maybe that's why I have so much trouble getting words out, getting the modern word out, like actually speaking it, because it's not the original, it's not the true Eshavors. It's not original thought, and maybe that's why they get stuck and I can't spark them very well. Did I say that right?
Yeah. It's hard to create sparks when you're spoke. Huh?
Right. I think that's what's happening. Like, apart from the fact that I almost went mute and did not speak for a few years of my life. But I've never been able to express myself the way I wanted to. I've never been able to get what is in my head out. Like, it's never flowed. I've never been able to communicate properly. And maybe that's why, because the words are so corrupt. So, another wow from Ninja.
Now look at you today. You're a radio host, and you're
stumbling over my words.
Bringing it on and speaking over it.
Thank you, Desert. Yeah, I still get stuck though. So, I'm so glad you have no problem speaking sparking. Yeah, you're always there. You're always there when I get stuck. So thank you. So please continue.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, did you finish your point, or
I've finished.
On the roll here?
Yeah, I've finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, no, you've come a long way, and you've been through a lot of persecution and a lot of struggle in your life, and that type of stuff doesn't put us on top of the mountain. It puts us down in the low valley, and it's challenging to overcome. And then when we realized, we woke up to the truth and realized our world is run by a bunch of psychopaths, and they're out to kill us all. We're witnessing them right every day on YouTube channels of phone captures by people all around the world of the genocide that's occurring, the tragic disasters that are man-made through geoengineering. Who in the world can want to be happy in the sight of all of that? Only the dumb, brain-dead sheeple, are there. But they got a superficial type of happiness. The type of happiness we want is of a deeper sort that comes through exact knowing and surrender and then a great experience with the one who made all things when he starts to communicate with us in a big way. So continuing here, the word sojourner, because I was looking at a lot of different words in different books, and so I just started writing as I was going in, I'm putting them on 3x5 cards and waiting to get the stream back up. And I know we've had a little trouble. Either I wasn't good to go, or your stream wasn't good to go, so they're backing up here, and I want to get some of them out.
I'm just glad we're doing it again after almost a week off.
Yeah, well, the good news is it worked today. So maybe this is the better timing.
You know what I think it was, actually, just before we get back into it? Windows 10, oh geez, I love Windows 10, was trying to update, and for some reason it was getting stuck. It wasn't able to update, so it was trying to do that in the background. So I think that's what it was. That's why it happens.
In other words, there's a certain time when it's programmed to do it, and it was probably programmed.
Yeah, it was doing it in the background, and I didn't know that until a window came up. So I don't know, sometime today, letting me know it couldn't complete the update, and but it's done now. It's done.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
so I think that's what the issue is whenever that happens. So.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Go. Thanks, Father above. So sojourner. So sojourner means that we are foreigners to this world. We're not part of this world, and so sojourner, as we can see in the word being abbreviated, is sojourner. The J is a corruption, of course, and the G would be appropriately in front of journer. But sojourner, which in essence means star traveler.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are star travelers.
Wow. Yeah.
We're on the Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're
in a sci-fi.
We want to get off the ship, though. You see, we know there's a better star to go, and that's our mother star. We want to go back to the mother ship, the throne of the sun. And of course, I'm just using. I got thinking about Star Trek because when he said spark, and I thought about Spock. Whenever the wise one spoke, he was named Spock, right? He was spocking. That's sort of like they would talk down there, right? They Spock. They don't speak. They Spock. Down here.
Down here, down under.
You Spock or you speak?
I call it Aussie. I call it Aussie speak, but maybe I should start calling it Aussie spark. Aussie sparking.
You spark, right? Okay.
Yeah,
so
we spark.
I thought so. Okay. So, but of course, the communicator on the ship was Uhura. You see, she was the communicator, and she was the black sun. The woman was a black woman.
Oh, wow.
And so Uhura represents the sun.
Yeah.
And so the one who's communicating is black, giving us the occultic symbolism of the black sun. And so that's rather interesting on Star Trek, and there's all kinds of stuff going on, with Star Trek. The two columns, jacking and Boas, are the two engines on the starship, on each side, right and left. Those are the
The more you look. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the round disc is the Earth. It's the Enterprise. You know, they're having a great party and they're all making big money off of all the slaves. You know, they're just having an enterprising moment, you know. So, anyway, so Sojourner is Star Traveler. That's what we are. We're here for a moment, and we better figure it out or we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because we're going back to dirt otherwise, you know. And so the word Naza, as you've heard me talk about the Nazare,
Yeah.
which is Nazi. You know, we see it in the corrupt form in Nazi. You know, they gave these words bad rap out of Germany when Hitler came out. But Naza literally means to come out. And so Yeshua it says he was from Nazareth, but there was no town called Nazareth. He was part of a community, and they were most likely actually the Essenes, because the correct word is not, you know, Essene. That's a modern corruption of an original that we don't have record of now. But they were the Nazare, a community of the Nazare, which were the pure Aryan line, because they were maintaining a pure Aryan line for the seed of the sun that would come down. And so they maintained a pure line all the way back to Adam through Noah. And so this Naza means to come out, and it's a prime root of form of the Nazare. We were told to come out and have from the unclean thing and have supper with me. Okay, so we have to separate ourselves, and that's part of the meaning of the word. That's why there was a Nazare priesthood. That's why Yalganun was a Nazarite himself, because the whole aspect of that is to come out of this world, come out from the corruption of this world, and be a separate people. That's what the scripture says. So these are all relative terms, you know, in our spiritual tradition, but they're hidden from us, and nobody talks about them, but yet they're all relevant. So Hebrew, you know, I finally got it, you know, about the Hebrew thing, and then I wrote down this quote the other day, and it is because see, there is no real Hebrew. What we have is Yiddish, and they took over, you know, the Khazars took over everything. They're not Israel, never were Israel, and so what we see with this alphabet is not the original either. It's molded over 2,500 years. What came out of Babylon was the original new script that was given to the high priest Ezra, but then all the good priests were killed. Herod did the final finishing off of them, but then, you know, you got the Pharisees and Sadducees, and that was the takeover crowd, you know, that took over. But then over through the time, you know, through the Kabbalistic traditions and the centuries, the Hebrew, what's called Hebrew, took on another form, and it became Yiddish. So there is no Hebrew, and so basically, my quote is, Hebrew is correctly Yiddish, and was and is in essence like Latin, being merely a part of the mystery religious class, the mystery religion class of the Babylonian Masonic Talmud and its builders. Okay, so that's all it is. It's a mystery religion. They got people following Hebrew, and they don't get the picture. In other words, Israel. Let's talk about Israel, which was annihilated back in 730 BC. Well, Israel never used Hebrew. They spoke Aramaic. That's all. They spoke Aramaic. And so Israel, the tribe of Israel, Israel, never had Hebrew. Never. They spoke Aramaic. And then when Judah came back from Babylon, the small tribe, the remnant of Israel, they received the new script from Yahweh through the high priest Ezra. So they had what was called Hebrew, but then it was within the last 400 years before the Mashiach came, you know, the priesthood took over, and the merchants and worked with the Phoenicians, and you know, and that's when the Essenes went into caves. That's when other honest people of the tribe of Judah, you know, or the remnant of Israel, they got on ships and went to the Americas. Some of them settled in Illinois, here in Ohio, Michigan, and that's why we find Hebrew writings here in America on slate, on all, and an account that's been totally put under wraps because they don't want us to get the picture, that everybody wants to escape that sewer that, the Pharisees and Sadducees gave to the people and enslaved them. That's why they killed the Mashiach. They knew who he was. They killed him, They didn't want anything to ruin business. Business was good for them. They didn't need him. They weren't looking for him. That's why they killed him. If it were a legitimate state, they would have accepted the Mashiach. It's all the grand illusion. So Hebrew is, in this thing with Israel, is all a scam, and people buy into it. And of course, the biggest saps are all the people calling themselves Christians in America, all kissing down, Israel, Israel, worship Israel, Israel, love you, Okay, they're the ones who, with the Israeli Mossad, took down the Twin Towers, killed 3,000, Americans, and then the Jews that were still there on Long Island or on the Jersey shores were dancing, having a party, and some people saw them, and they were all arrested, and of course, because they got the secret handshake club, they all, are let go.
Yeah,
so they're the ones who are in on it,
Yeah.
What a tragedy. And so people never get it. The slaves never get it because they can't think. They can only do what they're told to do, or think what they're told to think. They need some programming. Give me some programming, please. Can somebody please tell me what to think? I need some help here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't think freely. Don't try to figure something out. That might be a little dangerous. And it is dangerous to figure something out because then you, as one of those maxims says, you'll know the truth, and the truth will make you a fugitive.
Yeah.
And because we're in the sea of lies. So an interesting term is on words on Shavuos is the word suffix, and it means the latter part of a word. You got a prefix and a suffix. What's interesting about a suffix is it's called the suffix. It's really the original word is soul, and that means it's the soul of the word. And then you change the front ending of it with different prefixes, and you get the variable meaning of words. That's typical to the way many of the words have worked throughout time. Or you can also add something to the other end to create pluralism, the IM or the AYM or the ING, those type of things. But so today I just realized that the word noun was correctly noon, so another part of the revelation. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, and it's because this is the definition. I looked it up in Webster's 1828. Amazing work he did. In grammar, and it says name, but name is at the bottom. It's really a title. In grammar, a title or a name, that sound or combination of sounds by which a thing is called, whether material or immaterial. Okay, so it's a combination of sounds by which a thing is called. And so we call it a noun, but what it really should be is noon. Why? Because we're focusing light on something because we want to know its true nature and what it is called. What are the Shavuos, right? Focus light, noon.
Wow.
Okay? So that's the original thought. You see it right there in our face.
Yes.
You can see it. See it's the word noon, N-O-U-N, it's N-O-O-N.
Yep.
The U is a corruption. The U don't belong there. It's not a legitimate letter.
Yep.
That's part of the corruption of their cyber code,
Yeah. I'm just thinking of the amount of times that, I'm amazed. I'm just thinking of the amount of times you have said, and I can relate to that as well. Back in school, when we got taught English, and I'm sure I've heard you mention quite a few times that you didn't really care for the nouns and the verbs and all that stuff, and now you've come full circle and you're looking at the word noun and seeing it for what it really is, and that's amazing. That's amazing. It's right there. Yeah,
because the word revealed itself. In other words, it's relevant to the discussion right now, but remember, nouns, what we call nouns, are also expressions. This is how they played the game.
Yeah.
In other words, Jacob is Yaakov, but it means the seed of light. And so when they're using the word Jacob throughout the Old Covenant, and Jacob this, and Jacob that, and Jacob this, and Jacob that. So that's a cover. It's a code because they turned it into a noun when it should be the literal expression of what it means, which is seed of light. You see, so that's how the word trick is played. So we want to call it noon because we want to put real light on this story.
Yeah.
Because all of these words, like Gabriel means giver of light. Michael means the one who is like Yah. Who is the giver of light? Who is the one who is like Yah? It is Yeshua, you see. And so, this again with Melchizedek, that all of these words they give us nouns when they're actually not nouns, but expressions of original thought, you see. And that's the problem we have with this,
Wow.
It's the greatest trickery that we can imagine, and all of them,
Yeah.
all of the translators have bought into it, you see. And
Wow.
so do we want a name? Well, no. You see, a noun, because in the Latin, noun is nomen, and of course, nomen is like the prime root of nomenclature, but nomen for name, or another sound might be nomen in another tongue, but name is an anagram for moon. Reverse it, and you can see it's M-O-O-N, and so it's not noon at high noon. It's the occultic Lucifer. The occultic Lucifer, who's symbolically the moon. You see, it's the darkness. So you don't want a name that's in the darkness. You want the noon, which is the light that shines. You see, and reveals the true nature of a thing, be it noun or not noun.
Yeah, like Nunya.
Yeah.
Nunya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Nunya.
Yeah.
Nunya. Okay. You're going around a high noon spreading the light of truth. You see, you've got the right title.
Wow.
All right. I'm sure you'll be punished for it someday.
Yeah. Probably.
I'm joking, that. You're going to be rewarded for the great effort you're doing. We
thank you.
suffer persecution, that's what it says.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was probably in. Yep.
Realizing the truth that very often, well, you did. You called up the control tower one day, tried to give them a good report, and there they said, let's get this girl. She knows the cat's out. Ninja's got it. Oh no. We gotta shut it up.
It's been a while since you brought up that. Yep.
And all of a sudden, helicopters and airplanes started buzzing over your house.
Yep. That's when it started. Yep. That's when I started asking more questions.
We all do the right thing and look at what happens. We all have paid a price for it, Ninja. So welcome to the club.
Yeah, thank you.
We're in good company.
Thank you. Oh, I'm actually really glad to be a member of this exclusive club. I wish we could bring more in, because the doors are open. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody's got to do networking and share the report that we're doing here. We're giving $1 million presentation for a handful of people, and if that's all that comes in, that's okay, because they obviously wanted to hear it and needed it. We all benefit. You benefit. I benefit. The few that listen benefit. It's the truth is only meant for a few. It's not. We'll never have 1 million listeners. That wouldn't happen. By the time we get to 1 million, that's when they really will come for us. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we're on the bread of life, where Yeshua said, "I am the bread of life." What the word would be is matzah. Of course, bread is a modern word, right? So we want to go back to the original terms, and it's matzah. And so we can see the matzeh, correctly, it's matzeh. And there I think I did this with you the other day, but I had one more part. I think I may have not shared. Other than mosaic, I see in the word we've got the word mosaic. Also mazarot. The mazarot, matzah means mazarot, and so that's the very the constellations that go around the 12 zodiac that go around the purest energy center of the galaxy. It's pure energy at the center of the galaxy, charges all of the stars, and so the Mazzaroth. So when he says I am the matzah of life, what he really was saying was I am the mother seed of life. time. You see, and that represents a star. You see, it's the seed of the stars. Very cosmic, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's deep.
You've got my head spinning, just like everything in the cosmos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So man is a corruption. It means, as we said, it means moon. It's a form of the word moon, so it's Luciferian. That's why man in Old English means criminal and sinner, and they have some worse things for it in the Babylonian Talmud that I forgot now, and I don't care to go into the Talmud anymore. It's in the mud, and piece of garbage. A sick book with sick people that hold it and embrace it. And but man is actually, I saw it through the Sanskrit, and it's Ashav, A-S-H-A-V. And so, unlike with the PH, it would be the Shaf. Ashav would be like the staff that guides us, but it's Ashav, and so therefore it literally means the royal eye of a star, or the royal and the star of creation. So that's what we are. See, we're the royal eye of the star. The entire universe, the sun, the earth, the moon, all of the planets, they all came into being for our presence here on this planet to have this experience so that our spirits can transcend and go back home. Isn't it a profound realization that this entire universe came into being for us?
Wow. I'm stuck on wow. Yeah, that's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah, we are the royal eyes of a star, and so you're seeing, with royal eyes, and you need to keep moving with the greater meanings. They're never going to teach you stuff at the pulpit.
Yeah.
They can't interpret anything. All they can do is quote scripture. Jesus loves you. Yes, I know, for the Bible tells me so. John 3:18, or whatever they can quote those scriptures, but they can't tell you the meaning of the word, or the interpretation of the allegory, or the symbolism, or the metaphor. They can't talk any of that stuff.
Yeah, and we just have to just have to accept. Like I've been told that so many times when asking difficult questions, not just with religion but with everything, just to accept it. And I think that's what puts us apart from the majority, because we can't accept things the way they are. And I think that's where I was going with that. I'll let you continue. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No worries.
And you want to give out my information one more time? I'll be right back. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Just give out my phone number and my contact email.
Okay. Okay, Desert's number that you can contact him on is 608-566-7295. That's 608-566-7295. If you're international, just put a +1 at the front. You can call and text him if you have any questions or queries regarding donations towards the transliteration project. And you can talk to him directly about the PDFs as well. The Real Da Vinci Code, Etymological Dictionary, and the Book of Wisdom, and a sample of the original Gospel with the dictionary, a more up-to-date version of the dictionary attached. You can also contact Desert through me. My email is in the description on every one of these live streams, and I can pass on a message. Also, I haven't got it written right in front of me. Desert's email, contact Free America Radio. Is that it? Desert?
Contact at freeamericaradio.com.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk about the length of time for the programming, and I know you've got some other responsibilities to deal with, and I think I'm pretty well tapped out with my voice today.
Okay.
And, so it might be a good point where we wrap it up, and then do you want to do Sunday at 1 p.m.?
Sunday 1 p.m. I'm just thinking my time. That would be
In other words,
Monday.
not tomorrow, but in 36 hours.
Yeah, that would be Monday, 5 a.m. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we'll look for that, and give me the heads up, of course, so I know we're on page. Alrighty, and then
Yeah.
I want to thank you again for doing the broadcast and giving me a voice here. Not me, but of course Yeshua and the Transliteration Project. What we're trying to do. Hopefully, friends will be able to see and read it for themselves, and we're here to always help anybody out, answer questions. No matter what the situation. Okay, so. Righty, so I'll let you go and just have a great day down under, okay?
Okay, I will. It'll be a good day today. I've had a good start to the day, so.
All right.
Yeah. So,
wonderful.
Thank you.
Peace and love.
Peace and
All
love
right.
to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, and that was Dezert-Owl. Amazing as usual. And I did write something down, so I'm going to read it. Sorry, I need more coffee. It's AM. Okay, what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. If you want to know the future, don't forget, you just need to look for the Forbidden History Chronicles right here. We've rearranged the schedule. It'll be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US. Hopefully it'll be regular, like it'll be every second or third day. Okay, so the next one is Sunday, US time, and it's been great. It's been fantastic. I love doing this. I have to adjust to the new schedule, but it will work out better for me. So hopefully we will be back on track. Anyway, I will end it here. See you guys later. Love you all, and thanks for listening.
press 1 to mute or unmute yourself. 2 to pause or hold on the conference. 3 to record the conference. 4 for